All right, we're going to do section 5.1. First question was on number 12, and 12A was g of f of 1. And so you have to put this graph over here. And so it says g of f. So I got to put 1 into f first. And over here it says if I put 1 into, that's g, into f, I get out negative 1. So f of 1 is negative 1. So now I have to do g of negative 1. So if I put this back over here, negative 1 into g gives me 3. So that's 12A. 12B, and I'll just kind of talk through these now. G of f of 5. G of f of 5. So I have to put 5 into f, and if I go to the graph at 5, f has 5, 1 as a point, so 5 gets changed to a 1. So I'm doing g of 1, and if I go to 1 on g, 1 on g has a 4. Okay? C says g of f of g of 0. F of g of 0. So I got to go to 0 on g, and 0 on g is 5, so then I have f of 5. So I got to go to 5 on the x and find f, and that goes to 1. And then finally d. And d is f of g of 2. So I go to 2 on the x on the graph, go to the g function, and it changes a 2 to a 2, so I've got f of 2. So now I go to 2 on the x-axis, and on f, 2 is changed to a negative 2. And that's number 12. 18. 18, we're supposed to find f of g of 4. So we got to put 4 into g and then put that answer into f. Now on 18, f is the absolute value of x, and g is 1 over x squared plus 1. So if I put 4 into g, 4 squared is 16 plus 1 is 17. So I got 1/17. So this changes to f of 1/17. And f takes the absolute value, and absolute value of 1/17 is 1/17. That's A. B says g of f of 2. So you got to put 2 into f. The absolute value of 2 is 2. And so I have g of 2. And 2 squared is 4, plus 1 is 5. And I get 1/5. C. F of 1. So I got to put 1 into f. Absolute value of 1 is 1. So I'm going to have f of 1. And f of 1 is again 1. Not very exciting there. And C, D. I'm supposed to put do g of 0. So if I put 0 into this, I get 1. So now I have to do g of 1. So if I put 1 into here, I get 1 over 1 squared plus 1, which is 1/2. I probably got too low there. Put 1 into there, I get 1 squared plus 1, 1/2. That's after putting 0 in and getting 1. Okay, that was 18. move this up here, make sure it's on your page. 21. We're supposed to do the same things here for 21. F is now 3 over x plus 1, and g is the cube root of x. So if we put 4 into g, we get the cube root of x, of 4. Then we put that in place of the x, we're just going to get 3 over the cube root of 4 plus 1. I'm not going to worry about simplifying. And b would be g of f of 2. So you're going to put 2 into f, which is 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then put that into here, and the cube root of 1 is 1. And then we got to do f of 1. So if I put 1 in here, I get 3 over 2. And so I get 3 halves that I have to put into f. So I get 3 over 3 halves plus 1, which is 3 divided by 5 halves, which is 6 fifths. Okay, and then finally g of 0. And that's just going to be 0, because if I put 0 into here, I get the cube root of 0, which is 0, and then I'm going to put that in 0 into there, and I'm going to get 0 again. So g of 0 is 0. Okay, number 27. On 27, it says f of x is x squared, and g of x is x squared plus 4. And it says find f of g, which means I got to put g in for the x's of f, so that'd be x, in place of that x, I'm going to put x squared plus 4, and f says to square that. Then it says find g of f. So now I got to put f in place of the x, so I got to put x squared in place of the x. So that's the x, and then it says x squared plus 4. Then we got to do f of f. So in place of this x, I got to put x squared. F is x squared, and I got to put x squared in place of the x, so I'm going to get x squared squared, or x to the 4th. And g of g. So I got to put all of this g in for the x here, so I'm going to get x squared plus 4 for the x, and that is squared plus 4. Okay, that was 27. 31. 31 says do the same kinds of stuff, but now f of x is x over x minus 1, and g of x is negative 4 over x. So I got to put g in for the x's here, so I'd get for f of g, I would get this put in place of the x's, so I get minus 4 over x over minus 4 over x minus 1. To clean this up a little bit, I can multiply the numerator and denominator by x, and I'd get negative 4 over x times this would be just negative 4 minus 1x. Then I got to do g of f, so I got to put f into g. So I got to put this in place of the x here, so I get negative 4 over, and in place of x I'm putting x over x minus 1. So I can multiply numerator and denominator by x over x minus 1, or x minus 1 over x, and I get minus 4x plus 4 over x. That's when I multiply by x minus 1 over x. Okay, and then we got to do f of f. So I got to put f, this, in place of each of the x's. So I'm going to have in place of that x and x over x minus 1. Over, in place of that x, I got to put f, which is x over x minus 1 minus 1. Clean this up, I'd multiply by x minus 1 and x minus 1. That would cancel here, and I'd get x. And for this one, this would cancel here and give me x. And then I'd have minus 1 times this would be minus x plus 1. And these x's would cancel out, and I'd get x over 1 or x, which says these two were, f is an inverse of itself because it gave me just x. And now g of g. I don't know why I wrote f. Okay, so I got to put in place of the x, I got minus 4 over x, and then in place of that x I got to put minus 4 over x. So I get, if I multiply the numerator and denominator by x, x's cancel here, and the minus, so I get minus 4 over minus 4, which is 1x. So g is also an inverse of itself. If I do it, it'll give me back to what g was originally. Anyway, and then 40. On 40 it says find f of g and g of f and show that they're equal to x. So f on the first one is 4x, and g of x is 1/4 x. And if I do f of g, I put g in place of the x and f, I get 4 times 1/4 x, which is x. That's what they wanted me to show, the inverses. Or I can do g of f, so I can put f into g, and I get 1/4 of x, which is going to be 4x when I put f in place of it, which is x. And that's all they wanted me to do on 40. And then 43, doing the same kind of stuff here, only I'm going to use f as 2x minus 6 and g as 1/2 of x plus 6. So first we'll put g into f, g in for those x's, so I'm going to get 2 times 1/2 of x plus 6 minus 6. Oh. Yes, so 2 times the half is 1 times x plus 6 minus 6, and the 1 times this doesn't change things, so we can drop the parentheses, and so we get x plus 6 minus 6, which is x. Now we'll do it the other way. We're going to put this in place of the x over here, so we get 1/2 times 2x minus 6 and then plus 6. So these minus 6 and the plus 6 cancel, and so I get 1/2 times 2x, which is just x. And that's 5-1.